back to another video here on Maanav Sports Talk. This is going to be my first NBA video for the 2020-21 season. Looking forward to it. But this video is specifically going to be going over my favorite team, the Houston Rockets. I'm going to be doing my season preview for my Houston Rockets, including what I think of their new acquisitions, their new players, what they did in the offseason, what I think of James Harden's status, and my prediction for the upcoming season with, our new guy, John Wall. So, let's get right into it. So, I'm really excited for this Houston Rockets season, for the 2020-21 season. It's going to be really unique season for the Rockets. I think this is going to be one of the more interesting teams that we're going to have. And, it'll be fun to watch. I think this Rockets team presents, some intrigue to many people. This year it's all been about the offseason, our big trade, John Wall to Houston for Russell Westbrook to DC. It's all about James Harden wanting out of Houston. But, I think the Houston Rockets are a bit under everybody's radar. You don't really hear many people really talking about, the guys that they have. And, they have some talent. They can, I think, if everybody stays healthy, they can have some major, a big run in the playoffs. And, nobody's really talking about them too much. It's all about, Harden wants to trade out of here. Harden's not going to win a championship in Houston. But, give this team a chance. They have some talent, They have a lot of guys. They're not going to be doing small ball anymore, right? And I think they actually do have a chance to be able to defend against the Lakers. So, I think it's going to be a really fun team. I'm looking forward to watching the games this year. We're not going to be doing small ball anymore, so we got some centers. I'll be mentioning those. But I think this team has some potential. A lot of people may not believe that, especially here in Houston, but I believe in this team. They can go far in the playoffs. Obviously, the Lakers are going to be the favorites, but I think they can do some damage, and it should be a fun season to watch. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been watching John Wall in the preseason. He's been outstanding. And, he looks pretty good. He looks fit. That burst, boom, he just goes. It's really nice. Boogie, DeMarcus Cousins looking good too. Haven't seen Christian Wood yet. But James Harden came back today. He had practice on Monday. He joined the team. He's playing tonight. In the preseason game, he seemed to be doing well. And, let's just remove all of the trade talks and just focus on the team. I'm excited for it. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of our acquisitions. First off, I'm going to be talking about none other than one of our huge acquisitions during the offseason free agency frenzy, Christian Wood. A 3-year, $42 million deal. And, I think he can be really, really good. And he's a young player. He has potential. He's probably going to be, maybe a starting center. Maybe he comes off the bench, depending what DeMarcus does. But, he's 6'10". He's pretty big. But the most important thing is he can shoot. Unlike Clint Capella that we used to have, Christian Wood can shoot threes. He can shoot a jump shot, He's a, maybe not as good of a defender as Clint Capella was, but, he's still pretty good. 6'10", can be listed as a forward also. He's very young. In the 12 games that he had, he was really, really great. He was looking good on those stat sheet, by the way. But yeah, I really am looking forward to seeing him on Thursday. Yeah, so Christian Wood was a huge pickup. He was with the Detroit Pistons, and he had a really good finish to the season. He didn't play a lot of games. They don't have a lot of film on him. He didn't play a lot of games, so I really don't know what to expect in a full season. It's going to be 72 games, but, he's really good. He's a great young player. He showcased a lot of talent, He was like the best player in a pick and roll. So, paired up with James Harden, that's going to be like, that's going to be really good. You could see, some cooking going on there. I'm really excited for the pick and roll. We're finally going to see him on, I think, Thursday. But he's 6'10", he's pretty good. Forward center. If you take a look at his stats from those, I think it was about 12 games, he had about 22 points a game, 10 boards, and 1.5 blocks. And then He shot about 56% from the field, which is like really good for a forward center type build. 38% from three, so you can really see how that fits in with the Rocket system. Under Steven Silas, the Rockets will be, it won't be as many threes as it were before under Daryl Morey and Mike D'Antoni, but it still will be a little, you'll still see a lot of threes being shot. And Christian Wood can shoot at a good clip, 38%, and he's 74 from the free throw line. So I really like this acquisition. If he plays like he did in those 12 games, then, you're really looking at, a future center for the Rockets who can be really good. He fits in with their system really well. So this was a huge acquisition. Then the next one was obviously DeMarcus Cousins, Boogie. He's 6'11". He's a all-star center. He was with the Sacramento Kings and he was at the Warriors. Obviously, he tore his Achilles last year, and he's trying to recover from injuries with the Warriors and the Lakers and stuff. So he's just trying to come back from these injuries. But he's looked really good in the preseason so far. He's looking really good. I'm really excited. I keep saying excited, but you have to realize these Rockets, they're like a sneaky team. They're kind of like a dark horse candidate if you think about it, because they have pieces. They have John Wall, they have DeMarcus Cousins, Christian Wood, Harden if he stays, and then PJ Tucker. You still have House, Macklemore, Green. You got guys off the bench, EG, who can score. The Rockets are looking like they have much more depth this year at bench position, which is really important. Last year they weren't too good in their bench depth. And I think, maybe the Rockets have improved as long as they stay healthy, which is obviously the most important part, especially with DeMarcus, who's been battling through injuries. But so far he's looked good, and if he gets anywhere close to where he was before, man, he'd be our starting center and he'd be good. He can shoot threes. He's really good at shooting threes. Shoots at least 30, at least 34% roughly. So he's a good shooter. Not as great as rebounding as he was when he was younger, but he is still a savvy veteran that can make, really help this team out, especially now that we've moved on from small ball. I really like the Rockets picking him up on this 1-year deal. If it doesn't work out, you can release him, but it's looking good so far. I'm really hopeful it turns out well for DeMarcus, And next up, obviously the man, he's our number 2 now. It seems like Harden wants him. None other than John Wall. John Wall, the 5-time All-Star point guard and first-team All-Pro one time. In the NBA All-Star game, John Wall, he's looking really, he's our guy now. With James Harden, if he stays, I'm hoping James can stay. But yeah, I think John Wall, look, he's looking good in the preseason. If you see his burst, boom, he just goes, It looks like he's still got some of that speed, Even after his torn Achilles injury, he's had so many injuries the past 2 years. He's just been recovering from those since the days in Washington. But now he's here, he's looking fresh, he's looking healthy. He's still got that burst, that speed, which is really important to his game. And, maybe John Wall, comes back in form. He's saying that he's looking as good as ever. He feels good as ever. And if he plays anywhere close to what he was before, man, this Rockets team could really be dangerous, They would be one of the top teams in the West. You have to say, if John Wall stays healthy, if DeMarcus is good, and then Christian Wood, James Harden, and then all the other pieces, this Rockets team, very solid. And John Wall, people are saying Russell Westbrook and John Wall are pretty much the same player. Well, John Wall is a much better defender than Russell Westbrook was. And John Wall has a higher IQ, no offense to Russell Westbrook, but John Wall, is smarter, and he won't, do careless stuff, He won't have as many careless turnovers that Russ had last year. And it'll be good to see, I want to see how it will do with him and Harden together. I hope that kind of stays there, He was a 44% overall shooter. He's 30% from 3 right now and 70% from free throw, about 21 points per game. But that was a stat from 2 years ago. We'll see how he does this year. It's looking up for John Wall. I hope he's back to where he was, at least close to that. It's going to be really important for that to happen. So now let's talk about the other guys. Not the other guys, the role players. Big signing was Gerald Green. We needed Gerald Green. He's a Houston guy. He's from here. I love him. We need to keep him here. He can play small forward. He's 6'6", big wingspan. He can play. He's a great three-point shooter, streaky shooter. When he gets hot, he's he's really hot. So Gerald Green, is really nice. Next up, Sterling Brown was another acquisition that we got from Milwaukee Bucks. He's a small forward. He can shoot the three ball 35% from three and 80% free throw shooter. 6'5", he plays small forward. 41% overall. This was a nice acquisition for the bench, getting more bench depth for Harden to get rest, Wall, DeMarcus if he's starting, or Christian Wood. And then David Nwaba, who came from the Nets, he also came from a torn Achilles. DeMarcus Cousins came from a torn Achilles. It's like the Rockets are trying to pair everybody who got a torn Achilles and put them on one team. It's kind of silly, but, these guys have been preparing for their whole lives. They want to show everybody that they still got it. And, that's how they're getting inspired to work even harder. And I think that can really help, take advantage. David Nwaba, he's a pretty good, 34% from three. He's a shooting guard, 50% overall. And then there was a stat about John Wall where he was about 38% from three in a catch and shoot. So that was really good. And I think there is potential here with this team to really go far. I've said this before. And then Eric Gordon. People are saying maybe we should trade Eric Gordon. Maybe to get Buddy Hield. I wouldn't mind it. Buddy Hield is a really good shooter, and he can, you can teach a guy defense. Like James Harden, he was one of the worst defenders in the league when he was initially with us. And then, last year he was really good. We saw that game-winning block he had in Game 7 of the first round. That was insane, bro. Like, literally. And he's gotten better at defense so far in preseason. In this game against the Spurs, he's played well. And I think, we can, maybe Eric Gordon, who has some health issues. He's a spotty shooter, tends to lose the ball a lot. He's a pretty good defender, I'd say. But yeah, I wouldn't mind trading anybody on this team, except maybe like Christian Wood or DeMarcus Cousins or John Wall, James Harden, obviously those four. I wouldn't want to trade PJ Tucker or anybody like that. I wouldn't mind PJ, but if you can get some guys, use our first round picks to, maybe convince Harden to stay, actually stay and have a chance at a chip. That would be nice. But Chris Clemens, the guy comes off the bench. He's not too tall, but he can shoot the three really well. He was a great college player. We have some potential there off the bench. And then obviously Ben McLemore has been really good. Benny Mac, he's a great three-point shooter. Just a quick catch and shoot guy from three. I really like him. I really want him to stay here. And then obviously EG, Eric Gordon, and then PJ Tucker. But some other guys that we don't really know of, Jayshawn Tate, he played in Australia. Now he's with the Rockets on a 3-year deal. He's a young player. He's a young shooting guard. He brings energy to the team. He's a good defender. He's a young player. You're looking at the Rockets trying to develop him. And I think there is potential here. The Rockets have some draft picks. They have some young players, to get the future, which is good. But Jayshawn Tate, he might develop into a bench role later on in the season. And then Bruno Caboclo, we got him about a little in the middle of the season. Last year, he's our center, 6'10" from Brazil. He can shoot from three. He can shoot, I think he's good. He may develop into a bench role later on. I think the Rockets have improved by that center position. I know Capella was young, he was quick, but Capella can't shoot. It frustrated me a lot to see Capella not shooting the ball, but because he can't shoot. So now we have DeMarcus and Christian, so that should be good. So like I said before, look at John Wall. You see that Euro and then the finish. That was really good. He still got some step in him. You can see that. And look at John Wall passing to Boogie from three. It is splashed for three. So that was good too. And then you see Boogie here with the steal. You can see they're looking fit. They're looking good. And, it's looking like they can do. See Boogie with a spin. Nice layup there to finish it off, which was really good. And now let's see what John's ring number 1, which is a little bit different. See that mid-range? That's going to be, I think Steven Silas is going to allow us to use the mid-range game more. And then look at that. You saw that burst? That's exactly what I was looking for. John Wall, And then that jab step in the post, passing it to EG for 3, and that is money. So, John Wall, you see the burst, you see the acceleration, he's still got it. You see his passing ability, EG from way downtown. Yeah, EG's gonna have to knock these down. But there, David Nwaba breaks that pass up. He's going all the way down to the court. And Boogie that's John Wall. John Wall taps it back in. See, John Wall's still at, look at this, coast to coast. Pass it back out. Gerald Green for 3, and that is drilled. So, you see the passing ability. You see John Wall commanding the offense as the point guard. And, he's really taking control, making good decisions. Once again, that burst is the most important thing I was looking for. Does he still have it? Boy, he does. And he can shoot from 3. He can make the mid-range shot just like that, which was very good. It's good to see. And then John Wall passing it out. Boogie top of the key, splash. So, Boogie and John Wall, they went together to college at I think it was Indiana. They went to college together there, and they're reunited here once again. Boogie, another 3 from John Wall, very nice. Look at Boogie. He can shoot for 3, which is what we really need. I really wanted a center who can shoot from 3, which is much needed. Boogie again, John Wall. John Wall can shoot from 3. There, you see it? He can shoot from 3. Good passing. Still has the burst, acceleration. The finish. Prediction for the Rockets, I think they surprise a lot of people here. I do think they win a good amount of games. At least 40 games, maybe 40. At least 40. I would think close to 40 games. And if everybody's healthy, maybe even more than that. I do think highly of this team. I'm one of the few people who actually do. And I'm excited for it. Really interesting team. They're one of the most interesting teams in the NBA right now because of all their pieces and the situation that's going on with James Harden. But, I think James Harden, he should stay. He needs to try it out at least for a couple of weeks here. I think it can be really great. But again, I think maybe close to 40 wins. It's a 72-game season. So it can be 40 wins. I'd say at least 45 wins or something like that. Look, I think they can do it. This is my expectation. Obviously, I'm a Rockets fan, so I think they'll do better than what most other people think. But, I think they'll do good. They'll surprise a lot of people at the end. 45 games winning. And, in the playoffs, I think they can probably get past the first round. I don't know about the second round plus, but let's just say everybody's healthy. DeMarcus Cousins is fully healthy. John Wall, fully healthy. EG, fully healthy. And James Harden is still here. Yeah, I think they could go to the Western Conference Finals. I think they could compete with the Lakers. I don't think they're going to beat the Lakers because the Lakers are just too good. But maybe win a couple of games, like 2 games or something, and compete. Which is all what I want, honestly. I just want them to compete and have fun and be entertaining. So, that's what I think the Rockets can do. And, we'll see. It's going to be really fun. Can't wait. December 23rd to start. OKC Thunder. We're going to be facing them. That's the end of my Rockets preview for the 2020-21 season. Please go down, hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. My NBA season preview of all the teams is going to be coming out after this video, maybe tomorrow or day after, something like that. And then be sure to be on the lookout for Week 15 picks for the NFL. So be able to enable notifications for that. And I hope to see you in the next video.